Call to order a meeting of the Wilsonville City Council on Monday, April 4th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Will the city recorder please read the roll?
Councillor Linville?
Here.
Council President Ockervall?
Here.
Councillor Lehan?
Here.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Here.
And I believe Councillor West will be joining us soon.
Via Zoom.
Via Zoom.
Is he not?
Okay. Will the city manager lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Please stand.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank you everyone for being here. It's very exciting to be in person. And could I have a motion to approve the following order of agenda?
Your Honor, I move to approve the order of agenda.
Motion has been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. I'm going to start with mayor's business and begin with a proclamation for in honor of the Wilsonville Wildcats. And we are proclaiming the week of April 4th to 8th, 2022 as Wilsonville Wildcats Week. Whereas Wilsonville residents honor the faculty and administration of Wilsonville High School for providing a well-rounded education that includes co-curricular activities that aid in the development of life skills, and whereas the Wilsonville Wildcats boys basketball team is representative of the high school's commitment to sportsmanship, excellence, and personal development, and whereas these Wildcats have showed off their considerable skills not just on the court, but also in the classroom, where they posed a cumulative grade point average of 3.52. And whereas the team completed its season with an unblemished 12-0 home record and a 16-game winning streak and 4 more wins than any other team in the 5A classification. Whereas Wilsonville's tenacious defense was the best in Oregon, allowing opponents just 36.5 points per game, and whereas this juggernaut posted an average margin of victory of plus 21.9 points per game over the course of the season, and whereas the Wildcats endured a 2-season stretch when their postseason dreams were dashed by a pandemic that forced the cancellation of the state basketball tournament in 2020 and again in 2021, and whereas the Wilsonville boys returned to the state tournament as the number 3 seed and compiled a perfect 4-0 record, shooting a tournament best of 57.3% from the field. And whereas this remarkable team extended its own state record by appearing in the state championship game for the 6th consecutive time. And whereas on Sunday, March 12th, 2022, under the guidance of head coach Chris Roach, the Wilsonville High School boys varsity basketball team defended its 2019 state championship, winning the title for the 4th time in the last 5 years it has been contested. And whereas the Wildcats boys varsity basketball team displayed consistent excellence and exemplary sportsmanship and finished the year with a dominant 22-1 record against 5A competition. Their success on the court and in the classroom generated positive attention, excitement, and community pride while serving as an example and inspiration to the Wilsonville community. Now, therefore, the Wilsonville City Council proclaims April 4th to 8th, 2022, Wilsonville Wildcats Week. The Wilsonville City Council commends the passion, resilience, and sportsmanship demonstrated by Wilsonville High School students, parents, and community members, and we congratulate the members of the 2021-22 Wildcats boys basketball team for winning a state championship. In witness thereof, we set our hands and cause the seal of the City of Wilsonville to be affixed this 4th day of April, 2022. Should we clap? Well, that is absolutely wonderful. Thank you for listening to that proclamation. It was the most exciting proclamation ever known to man, I think, or woman. And we have a beautiful gold seal copy of this for each one of the team members. And I think what we're going to do is move to the back to award these and have a picture.
All right.
Any other logistics we need to know about?
No, I think Chris, if you want to do your coaching thing and maybe get them lined up, starting up over here.
Sure. Over here, guys.
And then as you hear your name, you can just come on up. I'll hold them for you.
Hey, I'll take it. Logan Thebe, sorry. Thebe. Enzo Chimienti. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Maxime Wu. Congratulations.
I hope you got best dressed tonight.
Okay. Bradley Keswick.
Thank you.
Haven't seen him. I used to live across the street from him, and he was much smaller. Ryan Soderlund.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kyle Counts.
Yeah.
I know. I know him from years ago.
Oh, really?
Tell him I said hi from so much.
Congratulations, young man.
Is he your grandfather?
Yeah.
I know his grandfather. Okay, Kaylin Guttridge. Congratulations. Sorry, I didn't get this one.
Congratulations, young man.
And Nick Collier. Congratulations. Cody Dimfelmeyer. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Cody.
And we have one also for the assistant coach, Aaron Harris. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
And also for the varsity book, is that right?
Yeah, the varsity book.
Varsity book, Terry Lynn Owl.
Yeah.
And of course, we have one for the varsity head coach, Chris Roche.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris.
A moment and then.
These are extra.
Oh, excellent.
To distribute how you see fit.
Thank you very
Great
much.
season, man.
Appreciate everything.
Congratulations.
Could we
Well-
say a couple things?
Yeah, sure.
Just real
Mayor,
quick.
Right here?
Enzo, why don't you come up and speak on behalf of the guys real quick?
And then we'll get a picture, Chris.
Awesome, guys. If we won't take a lot of time.
Oh, please, we've got time.
The team and I are very grateful for this award and the opportunity to represent the city, and we'd like to thank all of you for this opportunity.
Well, thank you.
The only thing I'd like to add is it's great for you to do this and recognize the kids. It's been, for everybody, it's been rough the last couple of years, and, we were back to kind of full bore activities this year, and they created some great memories for not only themselves, but their families and hopefully the city. We also represent a great school, and we have an incredible robotics team, our dance, our choir is amazing. Our girls soccer team won the state championship in the fall. Our girls basketball team is excellent, our football team. So it's really a place of excellence, and we hope overall that we represent you well. And I know the partnership between the city and the schools is very strong, and we appreciate all your support and everything you do for us. So thank you.
Now we're going to actually do a little more coaching and assemble everybody here, and we'll get the councils up to join them.
Excellent. Logan in the middle, fan out, tallest, not as tall.
That's not quite right.
Facing this way. Facing this way? Okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
Some other guys want to go come over. I'm
Hey, Chris, did we forget a player?
I think the gentleman at the end, I didn't have your name.
I'm out of fire.
Pardon?
He's a student manager, Tyler Geron.
Okay. Well, we have extra proclamations.
Did you want one with just them or with all of us?
Yeah, come on in.
I don't want to stand by the center.
I'll stand by.
The tighter you guys can get, the better. Hold on, you guys got to get a little tighter because, or someone stand in front.
Come on.
Stand right in there.
There we go. All right. All right. On three. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, thanks for skipping basketball to come hang out with us. Hope your DVRs are on. Yeah. Congratulations.
We've got state representative.
Oh, well, yeah, let's do it right, Mayor. No, we got to do it right. We got another one here.
We have another one.
Yeah. What's your name? Nick Crowley? All right, Nick. You stand right here, face me. Just like this. Good luck.
All right, we've been doing this. So Nick Crowley, congratulations.
And then we need you in the picture.
Yeah,
I would like to,
Sorry, you have to get back in the photo.
some of your team members may also know our neighbor and state representative Courtney Neron here. Would you please join us in the picture?
All right, on three. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Thank you. Congrats again.
You just dressing on me? Sure. Like you said. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Chris. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you, guys.
That was a team.
It wasn't so bad, was it?
No. Stand next to her. They probably should have had a picture of just them and my husband is 6.
Well, they'll see the picture and probably think we were assists on the team.
Yeah. That's right.
It's like my granddaughter, so
Definitely.
that's how tall those girls are. They're not 9, 10, but they're 6'2".
I need to
That'll make it more obvious. Yeah, exactly, like somebody else's.
Before we start, can we take a short break?
Yeah.
Because I just realized one of the pages I'm looking for. Oh, no, I found it. Here it is. We're good.
All right.
Okay. Continuing with our meeting, we are now in the mayor, the second part of the mayor's business, and our next item is the city attorney employment agreement. And at our last council meeting, we announced that the city council selected Amanda Guile Hinman to serve as the next city attorney. Tamara Russell, who is Deputy General Counsel with City County Insurance Services, has assisted with us in negotiating the employment contract. And so we're eager to have Ms. Guile Hinman begin her new role and have finalized terms of the agreement, including a start date of May 2nd, 2022. By the way, and I note that the City Council conducted a wide-ranging review of candidates. We agreed that Amanda Guile Hinman, who happens to be our former assistant city attorney and current city attorney for the city of McMinnville, was ideally suited to pick up where our retiring city attorney Barbara Jacobson left off. I would welcome a motion to approve the employment agreement, but before I do, I noticed that Councilor West is here. And so I see him on the screen here. So I just wanted to note he is here for do you need to call his name for the role, or is that sufficient? Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
It just kind of surprised me.
I'm here.
The picture appeared right there. Okay. So with
I just appeared.
he is here. With that, I will ask Council President Ockervall to make a motion to approve the employment agreement.
I move to approve Amanda Guile Hinman's employment agreement as city attorney from May 2nd, 2022 to April 30th, 2024, as outlined in the employment agreement.
Do we have a second?
Your Honor, I'll second.
Thank you. The motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstain? The motion passes 5-0. Thank you. I also wanted to tonight recognize something we did bring up at the last council meeting, and that was that April is Parkinson's Awareness Month. And I just wanted to call attention to this one more time to add a few special events for April and make sure that everybody knows about that. Parkinson's Awareness Month is an important opportunity to increase awareness about this ailment, as we heard at our last meeting, and all of its symptoms, and as well as to support the victims of this disease. I also want to note how important it is to continue research and advancements toward treatment and prevention and cure of that disease. It's a long-term disorder where the central nervous system degenerates, affecting the body's motor system with trembling and stiffness. And celebrities that I know we're familiar with, like Muhammad Ali and Michael J. Fox, have been diagnosed with this disease. So thank you for letting me make note of that again in support of our neighbors, friends, and family members who are touched by that disease. Also in April is Earth Day. And this is a chance to, during Earth Day celebrations, as you can see in our packet, we also have a proclamation to celebrate the city's 2021 Tree City USA Award. And this 2020 recognition is the city's 24th consecutive Tree City USA Award, and these awards represent or reflect Wilsonville's continued commitment to maintaining and promoting our urban forest. In order to receive a Tree City USA designation, the city must have a comprehensive urban forestry program consisting of a tree ordinance, city department that is responsible for trees, and in our case, that is the Public Works Department. The city must have an annual community forestry budget of at least $2 per capita and an annual Arbor Day observance and proclamation. Wilsonville also received its 12th Growth Award designation that recognizes the city's tree planting achievements go above and beyond the minimum requirements. Our Growth Award achievements in 2021 include convening an interdepartmental tree response team following the 2021 winter ice storm to assess the damage. We also worked in collaboration with Friends of Trees to coordinate the replanting of 200 trees in neighborhoods throughout the city. We are hiring interns to update the city's tree inventory at this time and doing an inventory of trees in parks and at city facilities. We are adopting the first urban forest management plan, and we're honored recognizing that, and we're also recognizing the nomination of Councillor Lehan for recognition by Oregon Community Trees and the Oregon Department of Forestry for the 2021 Oregon Urban and Community Forest Award, which she received in early 2021. So those are some of the things that went on during this last year in recognition of our focus and celebration of trees for more than 2 decades. We have an Earth Day event coming up, which is a tree planting with Friends of Trees, and to celebrate Earth Day, the city is sponsoring with Friends of Trees a citywide tree planting event for new street trees. So the deadline has already passed to order a tree for this, but you can still participate in the volunteer planting of trees on April 22nd. And you can find out more on the city's website. And a couple of other things that are happening this month, kind of along the same lines, is we're having the Spring Fling, which is Environmental Awareness Week. The Parks and Recreation Department is sponsoring a Spring Fling Environmental Awareness Week, April 25th through April 30th. Activities throughout the week include tree pruning classes, pollinator education, a native plant giveaway, and more. And the week concludes with the community's annual Work Day, volunteer projects on Saturday, April 30th at Memorial Park. And of course, you can find out a lot more details on the city's website. And finally, I would like to announce the PGE Electric Tool Exchange event coming up on April 30th in the Wilsonville campus parking lot of Clackamas Community College. Anyone is able to participate in this event. It is geared toward area residents. It allows community members to dispose of old gas-powered lawnmowers, string trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws for free at no charge. You can order and pay in advance for new electric-powered lawnmowers, string trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws for pickup on April 30th. The day also gives you a chance to see and demonstrate various power tools, and community members should register in advance for this April 30th Electric Tool Exchange on the website. And it's also being held on April 24th in Lake Oswego.
Where is it on the 30th?
It's at the Clackamas Community College campus.
Oh.
Okay?
Because that's also a work day, you know. Kind of a conflict.
It's all happening on the same day.
Yeah.
I guess we're all going to be out. Maybe they can bring their new tools to the
work day.
Or use the old tools for the last time and then turn them in.
There.
The next meeting of our city council is, I believe, let's see if I have that. It is, not sure I have it, isn't it April
18th.
Mm-hmm. April 18th is the next meeting of the Wilsonville City Council, and there are many other meetings actually in your packet and on the website. I'm not going to go through all of the events, but there are scads of things from oil painting classes to tree planting to bridge to cleaning up things on the workday. There's lots going on. So that concludes the mayor's comments, and that brings us now to the communications segment of our agenda, and I would like to welcome to the microphone our state representative, Courtney Neron, to give us a 2022 legislative session presentation. Welcome.
Thank you.
I might need help getting to the presentation.
And while that's getting set up, in addition to what is going to be presented by Representative Neron, we also have in the packet a written legislative update from our staff team.
All right. This is new. Thank you. I want to begin by saying hello. It's so nice to be in person and see you all here in this space once again. And it was so exciting to come in and see a championship team fill the room. So congratulations to the Wildcats and the wonderful proclamation to celebrate. I appreciate that. And yes, so I'm here to present, and thank you for having me, an overview of, how do I hide that? There we go. An overview of the legislative session. We spent February in Salem in our short session, which happens every even-numbered year. The long session happening in odd-numbered years. We did last year, and then we'll do again next year. But this year was our short session, so we had a lot of work to do given pandemic relief needed and a lot of unfinished business from the 2021 session that was ready to be passed. So I'll give a quick overview of a very full month-long session and hopefully go quick enough that if there are any questions, we could have a few questions today or follow up with each of you or any of you who have questions later. So the short session this year focused on urgently responding to our housing inventory needs and our homelessness crisis across the state. We also focused on bringing down the cost of living and supporting our schools and our educators who are working so hard and have really pivoted and had to be quite flexible given all of the different changes that have impacted our classrooms throughout the years. We've also focused on investing in community safety and violence prevention and supporting working families, our workforce, and small businesses, given all of the challenges all have faced. We also had multiple bills to respond to our current healthcare needs. And here's a quick overview of some of the largest investments that were responsive to those particular focal points and focuses of this session. So most significantly, we invested $400 million in affordable housing and our urgent homelessness crisis. So services, siting of shelters, and relief and supports to prevent and respond to homelessness across the state. We also invested $200 million for Future Ready Oregon. That's a workforce development package that will, I believe, be signed formally tomorrow. So really investing in the training that our workforce needs to get back to work and be successful in careers. We invested $300 million for Educator recruitment and retention. Largely, this was in House Bill 4030, as well as summer learning opportunities. We have many school districts that were impacted by wildfires, so our wildfire-impacted school districts received some relief, and we also addressed educational disparities. There is definitely more to do, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. We invested $300 million to meet the state's medical and behavioral health care needs while supporting our frontline healthcare workers. A lot of challenges as we've navigated the pandemic, and hopefully these investments can start to make a dent in some of the challenges our workforce have faced and that our population needs in response. We invested $100 million in climate resilience. That budget tackles drought, extreme weather, and infrastructure. And climate adaptation is kind of a new phrase that we're hearing. How do we help people get through the extreme weather, whether it's heat or cold, and make sure that people are ready for the challenges and resilient in the face of climate change. We also invested $100 million in expanding access to childcare and supporting childcare providers and our workforce in House Bill 4005. This is an extension of House Bill 3073 in the 2021 session that set up the Department of Early Learning and Care. And this also helps us ensure that we are compensating at 90% of the market rate instead of 75% or lower, which makes childcare is a very, there's not a large profit margin. We want to make sure that we're setting up the small businesses that are childcare for success, as well as supporting our families. We invested $200 million for broadband infrastructure in House Bill 4092, which I know Wilsonville was very focused on, so thank you for your support. And then we invested in $300 million to bring down the cost of living and provide relief for working families, and I have a little bit more on those in a moment. Each short session, legislators are able to introduce 2 personal bills. This year, my personal bill is focused on government transparency and accountability. The first, House Bill 4114, which did pass, ensures that our school board members, who collectively across the state oversee billions of dollars of state dollars, our school board members join the long list of public officials, nearly all elected public officials, who must submit statements of economic interest. House Bill 4140, we're going to continue working on during the interim. It is a bill to ensure public meeting law trainings for our elected officials across the state, and the trainings would be offered by the Oregon Government Ethics Commission, also known as OGEC. It allows them as well to respond to complaints of violations of public meeting law. We currently don't have a response mechanism for responding to violations of public meeting law other than lawsuits. All right, in terms of some of the topic areas in our session focus, as an educator and a vice chair of the House Education Committee, these 2 bills are very important to me, and I know to our education community, our education workforce. So in order to build stronger schools, 2 of the bills that we've passed, House Bill 4124 studies standardized testing across the state, and it develops recommendations and best practices to recommend to our school districts and to our education committee. Also, House Bill 4030, as I mentioned earlier, invests in our education workforce, offering immediate relief, which was what we're hearing our educators need. And I've heard that our local school district already was able to commit to retention grants for local educators. So this bill, 4030, allowed for those retention grants as well as workforce recruitment efforts. We also are trying to figure out how to make it uphold a quality education workforce, but also make sure that educators are able to work here reasonably. So licensure reciprocity with other states that have equal or parallel standards. So making it easier and more streamlined through the TSPC, the Practices Teachers Licensing Commission. And then we have a statewide application portal that we're going to be setting up so teachers can apply for open positions across the state. So we'll be able to learn what jobs are open as well as apply, which could allow for a wider understanding of what jobs we're needing to train for as well. Our interim work group will be focusing on seeking long-term workforce solutions for education. This bill, 4030, was really focused on more of an immediate response to the urgent needs in our classrooms and of our education workforce. In order to support working families and small businesses, these are just a few of the bills that we've passed. Again, 4092 is our broadband work, investments to improve access to reliable high-speed broadband services for rural and underserved communities. It will help improve statewide coordination and planning for future infrastructure. We know we need to be planning for potential federal dollars, as well as making sure that we're finding out where the gaps are in our services. House Bill 4015 increases the cap from $100,000 to $1 million for the Entrepreneurial Development Loan Fund, known as ELDF. That is a fund that supports startups and early stage companies, so now they can apply for much larger funds to get going. We also passed House Bill 4157, which helps our families and individuals who earned the federal earned income tax credit in 2020. These are one-time payments for some of our lowest paid workers, one-time payments of $600 for those who earned that income tax credit in 2020. House Bill 4005 again stabilizes our child care workforce, as well as lowers the cost of child care for families. In terms of addressing homelessness solutions and solutions to affordable housing, a few of the solutions that we've put forward really get at the root causes of homelessness. We have House Bill 4013 that creates a pilot program to assist school districts in preventing unaccompanied homeless youth. And then we also have passed House Bill 4123 to fund pilot projects around the state that set up offices to collaborate strategically across county services to improve coordination and reduce redundancy. House Bill 5202 is one of our budget bills, and it includes significant investments to increase the state's behavioral health housing and residential treatment capacity, something I know Wilsonville is really proud to be offering in many of our neighborhoods. Two bills that will help communities preserve existing affordable housing that did not pass that I'm continuing to work on are House Bill 4043, as well as Senate Bill 1557. So I'm working in the interim with other legislators and our community partners to make sure that funding through the Oregon Housing and Community Services flows to those individuals whose subsidized rent is no longer subsidized. Essentially, we have 30-year contracts with the federal government that have expired, and then the rent in those complexes is raising to market rates. We have destabilized populations across the state, and more to come, so we're trying to figure out long-term solutions, such as the tax credit in 4043, and shorter-term solutions, such as in 1557, that stabilizes and subsidizes the rent for those individuals whose rent has risen to market rate. Most close to Wilsonville would be the Wood Springs complex in Tigard, at the edge of many communities that really just don't have extra low-income subsidized housing to offer. So when we destabilize a population, we really have to consider that a regional effort to protect and preserve that affordable housing. The other facility in 1557, the other apartments are in Salem. So we've got a statewide effort to really problem solve, as we know that that is a challenge as these 30-year federal contracts will be expiring across the state. All right, increasing access to quality health care is, of course, at any time a priority, but especially during a pandemic. Senate Bill 1556 creates a certification and public registry for caregivers in homes and community-based services, and House Bill 4003 addresses our nurse workforce shortages and provides resources for nurses experiencing stress and burnout, something we know is pervasive across the nursing workforce. House Bill 4035 creates a bridge plan for more than 300,000 vulnerable Oregonians who would otherwise lose their Medicaid coverage that has changed during the pandemic. So we're preserving that with 4035. And then one that I think will be of special interest to our veterans and to our communities who are caring for veterans is House Bill 4095, which will help our low-income veterans access dental care, which is something that we know our veteran population needs and are now able to offer as a state. In terms of protecting the environment and natural resources, 3 things I want to highlight are the investments in climate adaptation, as I mentioned, but also Senate Bill 1546 preserves the Elliott State Forest, which has been in conversation for years. It will be now dedicated as a statewide research facility focused on studying best practices for forest management. We also passed Senate Bill 1501, which is the Oregon Private Forest Accord. This protects fish and wildlife. It incorporates best practices and data similar to the Elliott State Forest Bill. This has the support of both timber industry and environmental groups. So some pretty phenomenal environmental agreements happened in the short session. Additional accomplishments that you might be interested in, our local Coffee Creek Correctional Facility will get nearly $1 million in funding for a couple different projects. One is a legal services pilot program, and another is something that I've been working on, which is a gender responsiveness coordinator and a study to improve gender responsiveness in our women's prison here. So, and study generally how can we serve adults in custody in correctional settings better. We also, many of you know, I'm very interested in reducing toxins in our environment, and we modernized the state's approach to licensing pesticide applicators, another win from both industry and environmental groups. Expanding the cancer presumption standard for firefighters. Now we've included bladder cancer and female reproductive cancers. We now have a lot more female firefighters in the force, and so we're realizing that the cancer presumption needs to include the cancers that are so common among our firefighter workforce. And we've also supported outreach to help access federal earned income tax credit for families that have earned the federal income tax credit. They sometimes don't know that they have access to it. So this helps us pull down those federal dollars into some of our lowest income households. Another thing, just to kind of highlight some of there are lots of monumental investments, but also semantics matter. So one of the things that we've changed in Oregon statute now is removing the word alien to refer to people, and now it will be replaced with the word non-citizen. Specific Wilsonville community investments include the gap funding, those final state dollars to ensure the full funding of our transit-oriented development. So excited that we're moving forward with that project. It really responds to a statewide need. It's a very creative project, and really incorporating the services and the living space in a transit-oriented location is just such an exciting project that I think we can all celebrate. So we've got that $1.9 million to ensure the full funding. Very excited about that. And in 2021, I advocated for certain ARPA dollar investments. The American Rescue Plan Act dollars that are coming to our district are dispersed as follows. We've got $1 million that is going out to expand broadband infrastructure in the 3 cities that work so closely together to make this possible. Wilsonville, Sherwood, and King City have had multiple meetings to make sure there's a coordinated effort to respond to broadband needs. That supports not only our rural constituents and underserved neighborhoods, but also helps us ensure economic development areas have the redundancies that they need and the capability that they need to expand successfully. In terms of the health and human services that I'm really focused on, we've got $50,000 went to support Wilsonville Community Sharing directly, as that supports our community members. $100,000 is going to Clackamas County to purchase public a mobile health unit. It will be a van that they can equip in different ways, whether it's mobile vaccines or testing, different kinds of mental health care, et cetera. It can be rather versatile, so we've invested in that for Clackamas County. And we've also got $500,000 going to Just Compassion, which does serve much of our district. And Just Compassion offers homeless services, rehabilitation, shelter, and is going through an expansion right now. So they are located in Tigard, but do serve East Washington County as well as the communities and community members that need care. So Just Compassion received $500,000, and our volunteers in medicine in Clackamas County received $200,000 as they build out their new campus or their new clinic on the Clackamas Community College campus. We had the groundbreaking ceremony a few weeks ago, and it was very exciting to see the plans and know that volunteer-run medical clinic is going to have a new home and lots of space to support our communities. Interim policy work that I'll be focusing on, as I mentioned, preserving subsidized affordable housing. I'm also really interested in stabilizing the current service level calculation for school funding, not asking for more necessarily with that concept, but simply making sure that we have a stable calculation that's an agreed upon calculation, which has been a point of contention in recent years. I also want to invest in removing the cap on special education services that is artificially applied to school funding. So looking at how we can improve special education investments there. I am focused as well on modernizing the Toxics Free Kids Act, and I believe these are interactive on the city website, but there's an article linked there for anybody that wants to read about the Toxics Free Kids Act. And then we also have the work that I mentioned, investing time into making sure that our public meeting laws and government ethics have appropriate oversight and training. Educator recruitment and retention is something that I'm spending quite a bit of time on for long-term solutions, as well as really leaning in to listen to our victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. Survivor protections and advocacy is something that I am very invested in, and would really, I'm really grateful for those who've come forward to share their stories with me. As well, we have Quiet Clean Communities efforts to look at the noise pollution and frankly the greenhouse gas pollution that our small engine landscaping devices emit. As with what California has done in supporting our landscaping services to switch to electric, they're reducing greenhouse gases considerably. And I would like to do something very similar in Oregon, so I'll be looking at the possibilities for our landscaping services as well here. And here's how you can connect with me, my email and phone number, as well as I hold weekly office hours. You can register on my website in the calendar on the website to meet with me every Wednesday from 12 to noon. And I want to thank you all for having met with me throughout the years, whether it's a walk outside or meeting at our local coffee shops, our new coffee shop in Charbonneau. Very exciting to see all of you, and I know Councilor West and I spent quite a bit of time walking at the dog park. That was always good to have conversations with you all. So I know you all know how to reach me, but I want to make sure that the public does as well. So try to be accessible to you all.
Thank you, Representative Neron. That was a great comprehensive report, and we're going to have that on the website so that we can connect there. And also, if any of our constituents, citizens, residents, businesses in Wilsonville want to speak further with Representative Neron about any of these topics or other topics, we do have those great links to set up a meeting with her. And also with the counselors, if I encourage counselors to do the same if you want to have a longer conversation about some of these things. Right now, I just wanted to make a brief comment and ask if other counselors want to make a brief comment. And really, you've detailed out so many things that you did in the last session that are just right on target and so helpful to our community. The one that that I'll just call out that is going to help so much for many years ahead is the $1.9 million in funding to help close the gap on the funding of the transit-oriented development which will be located near the West Station. And we hope to, as we develop those plans, see maybe the location of the Wilsonville community sharing might be able to go there, maybe some transit-oriented counseling so people can plan how to get onto our smart transit and get from here to various communities, and also perhaps daycare. So there's more planning to do. We're really looking forward to that. So just going around to the council briefly, if you just have a comment or a question, starting with Council President Aukervall.
Thank you. I look forward to further conversation. There is a lot presented this evening, but just wanted to take the opportunity to really thank you for your work on many in our community and beyond. But we always appreciate hearing the many updates of projects that you've been working on, but hearing those pieces in between and just really feeling like you are championing this community in this city all year long. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Lehan.
Yes, well, over the years, I've worked with a number of legislators at the state level and the federal level, and I would say what makes Representative, get your title, Representative Neron, different, is how responsive she is to her constituents and how fearless she is to take on issues that are controversial and but always to speak up for your constituents, whatever the situation is. And a lot of times legislators are reluctant, shall we say, to step forward on things that might be controversial, and you have you are always just right there for your constituents, so I really appreciate that over the years.
Thank you. Councillor West.
Sorry, I could not be there on our journey back into the city council chambers today. But I do have maybe some of these are questions we can take offline. There's a couple bills that came through the legislature that really concern me. I think the greater Portland area has really seen a skyrocketing in crime. Their murder rates off the charts. We unfortunately see not just petty crimes, but violent crimes just skyrocketing in a way I've never seen in my lifetime, and I've lived here my whole life. And I know we all want safer communities, and we want Wilsonville to be safe, and Clackamas County, and the whole entire state. I know we all share that. But there's been so much anti-police sentiment coming out of the Portland area, and I believe, unless I can be clarified, and we can talk later about it, but out of Salem. There were a couple bills that I thought really undermined police and law enforcement and really tend to help those that were participating in criminal behavior. House Bill 3164, maybe you can explain this bill a little further since we weren't there, but we voted to remove crime from interfering with a police officer. It was a bill that was passed after Tina Kotek Stapper was arrested for a crime in the riot herself, and that was House Bill 3164. There was another bill, House Bill 3273, that was passed to protect Antifa and other criminal behaviors from releasing their mugshots. And then there was one that forbid cops to use non-lethal force and things like using their pepper spray as non-lethal ammunition. That was House Bill 2928. And so there was just a number of bills that I thought really undermined law enforcement and didn't actually do the work necessary for safer communities and safer policing. And I think a lot of our law enforcement is really demoralized right now. We have a hard time getting them staffed. We have a hard time keeping them staffed. And so I know you voted for all those bills, but I was just curious, what was the sentiment around safer communities and policing coming out of the legislature? And then what was your mindset as you took those votes?
Yeah, thank you. And there are a lot of bills that you've just brought up, so we should probably take this offline, but you know how to contact me and I'm available anytime. The general sentiment right now is making sure that we're addressing safer communities with data-informed investments, as well as bipartisan solutions. So a lot of our policing work was bipartisan created. So in terms of each of the details that you brought up, we would need to kind of go through the language in each of those bills. A lot of those that I believe that you've brought up were from the 2021 session. So we can go back and talk about those another time as well. But we really are trying to address systemic injustices and invest in data-informed and data-proven ways of making our communities safer. So that is the investments that I mentioned in keeping our violence prevention and investing in safer communities. We'll be investing in organizations that do this work very intentionally, and yeah, but we can talk about more about some of the details at any other time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And as we said, you can set up an appointment to go into those in detail, and they can prepare in advance. And now, Councillor Linville.
Well, Representative Nero, and I just wanted to echo my colleagues' statements and thank you for keeping our city on the list of your priorities as you do your work in Salem. I think we are going to benefit and continue to benefit from some of the funding that will come to the organizations here as well as the city. So, and I appreciate that you and I have had the opportunity to get together and just kind of chat, and I look forward to continuing that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And just to wrap up, I will say that Representative Neron and I have had several meetings during the session and over the last year about transit, also about law enforcement, and I'm actually going to follow up with you next week about a conversation I've had with the city manager and our police chief, Rob Werps, about our collaboration with Clackamas County, also our mental health position that we're adding to the police force. And so we're very pleased with the collaboration we're having and look forward to staying in touch with you on that. And let us know if you hear of anything that we need to respond to. All right. So thank you for joining us, and I'm glad that you could accept our invitation to come and do this report, and feel free to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Okay,
thank you.
Or not. I'm going to stay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a large crowd, but I see there's one chair available there.
I'll find one.
All right, thank you. So that brings us to the consent agenda, and I wonder if our legal counsel assistant city attorney Ryan Adams could read the consent agenda, please.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did that again, Ryan. Just a minute, please.
No. Councillor comment.
No, I have two items. I have two items. So I'm really, let me back up. Under communications, we have a report about the Wilsonville Little League bleachers. And we have a couple of other things after that.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you for making some time for me to share our little project. My name is Brian Clark. I'm on the board of Wilsonville Little League and oversaw the project that we undertook over the last couple of months to install new bleachers, thanks to funding from the city at Wood Middle School, specifically at field number 1. And they look great. If you have the opportunity to go drive down Wilsonville Road and turn into Wood Middle School, right when you turn into the school, you can't miss them. They're big. They seat 90 people is what their maximum limit is. and it was, I have a greater appreciation for Bleachers now when I see them, definitely. So we, at the beginning of March, received the Bleachers and got a crew of volunteers together over 2 days, about 8 hours total of work, that we assembled these new Bleachers. And this past weekend was our opening weekend for our older age groups. And we're lucky to have amazing weather, and people have been using them. So it's definitely a big step up safety-wise compared to what was there before, as well as just capacity and visually for the facilities that we have for the Little League.
That is great. Thank you for the report on that. I do want to drive by and see them. Does anybody have any comments to add or questions? Councilor Linville.
Congratulations on getting your bleachers installed. I just wanted to remind folks that this was one of the projects from the Metro Community Enhancement funding that we get from Republic Services. We get because we have Republic Services here in our community, and so we're really fortunate that we can fund projects that are like these, and this was one that was approved by the council in the last go around of our funding. So we're happy that you're completed. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And we have 308 kids registered for this year. So it's going to make a huge impact. A lot of the teams use those fields. So not only will it make an impact this year, but for many, many years to come.
Great. Well, thank you for pointing out the Community Enhancement Committee as a part of that. I know Councilor Linville sits on that, so thank you very much. And we'll see you at an upcoming game, I hope, or practice.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now, that brings us to citizen input and community announcements. Do we have anyone on the phone line or otherwise?
Nope.
Okay. Now we'll go to councilor comments, liaison reports, and meeting announcements, starting with Council President Aukervall.
Thank you. Coming up this week, I will be attending an LOC, League of Oregon Cities Strategic Planning Focus Group on Wednesday. And that's an opportunity to just provide some feedback as they're developing a new strategic plan for the LOC organization as a whole. On Thursday, I will be at the Urban Renewal Task Force for our city. We have a meeting that afternoon, and I believe we'll be meeting monthly here for a periodic number of a few months. And on Friday, I believe, is the Rotary's First Citizen Awards. And unfortunately, I will not be attending that. I understand other council members are going to be in attendance. And so I hope that you'll pass along my congratulations and appreciation for the many people that will be recognized, as we have so many exceptional volunteers and community members that contribute so much to our city. I was able to attend the Rotary Peace Pole dedication that occurred this last Monday here at City Hall, and people may notice that we have a new peace pole now outside of the entrance to City Hall, and we heard briefly about plans for additional peace poles that will be added at schools in Wilsonville. There's already one existing at the high school, but some of our other schools within Wilsonville may also be receiving a peace pole in the future as that work continues. And I also wanted to call attention that our city DEI committee, that the city is looking for members for a focus group. And I believe the deadline to sign up is April 10th, so that's coming right up. And you can find more information on the website. The focus group meetings will occur between April 13th and 19th. And the dates, again, are listed on the website. And if you find that you would like to be involved but can't commit to one of these meetings, there's also an online survey that you can submit feedback that way. And so we're looking at getting some response and feedback from our community members as we continue with that work. And that is all for me this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Lehan.
Yes, I don't have a lot this evening either, but I have, not because I haven't been busy. I have been very busy with a variety of airport-related meetings, also with the Willamette Falls and Landings Heritage Area Coalition, and had the first meeting of the Willamette Falls Locks Authority, which is the new group that will be taking over ownership of the locks and trying to get those open. So that's an exciting thing to look forward to for all of the upriver communities, of which Wilsonville, of course, is smack in the middle of. And but then I just wanted to mention, which the mayor already did, but the list of activities that we can't possibly read, because there are so many, that as we're now finally coming out of the most of the pandemic restrictions and protocols, our parks and library programming are just going gangbusters. Mm-hmm. Besides the community work relative to Arbor Day and other cleanup efforts, lots of fun things to avail yourself of through our parks department and the library, from small children to seniors, vigorous activities to, game of pinochle. So I would just encourage people to gradually take advantage of all the offerings that are there, because people are really wanting to have fun together again. And if you are immune compromised or otherwise sensitive, feel free to wear a mask, and we will accommodate people as best we can. A lot of our activities are outdoors, so there should be something for everybody.
Thank you. Councillor West.
Thank you. It's been a busy couple weeks. I had the honor to serve with Councillor Linville on the Metro Enhancement Grant Committee, and I'm excited about some of the things we're pretty shortly here going to bring before the council. And we have a great committee. Thoughtful members in our community are serving on this committee with us, and they impressed. So they are really thoughtful, and I think we had a good time, and we got a lot of work done in our last meeting. And so we are excited about what we're going to be able to bring before the council. I am going to attend the Rotary event next Friday. I encourage people in our community. It's a great event. It's a lot of fun. It's once a year. It's where the Wilsonville Citizen of the Year is. The nominees are also awarded, or are named and then also awarded. And the money goes towards a great cause. And the Rotary does so much for our community, not just this big event that's happening next Friday, but even the concerts in the summer. I hope we could have those again now that COVID is less dangerous. And so they just do so much, and they really have really done a lot for our community. So if you can go on their website or get those tickets, and let's hang out with our community members, our neighbors, our friends, and show Rotary some support. And I guess that's kind of all I have to report this week. And then I will let Joanne jump in next.
Thank you. Councillor Linville.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just have a few things. I wanted to remind our citizens that the signups for garden plots at the community garden at Memorial Park open on April the 7th. And those plots are one plot per household, and they are now year-round from April until March. And you can get more information on the Parks and Rec website if you'd like that. And then I will be having a Zoom meeting with one of the staff persons that for the Clackamas County Workforce Partnership this week on Friday. And if you'll recall, this was something that I tried to see if there wasn't a way that Wilsonville could get engaged with that workforce partnership group. And so I think this is a beginning to look at, is there a way for elected officials to have some input? And so we'll have a little bit of that discussion. I also will be at the Rotary Heart of Gold on Friday night. And then I think our very last Willamette Falls Locks Commission meeting is going to be on the 11th. And thank you, Councillor Lehan, for, I pass the baton to you on the management of the locks.
I'll ask for your advice whenever.
Well, you won't need my advice, I'm sure. And then I wanted also to mention that on the 16th of this month is the community egg hunt at 10 o'clock in the morning at Memorial Park, and encourage all of our citizens to participate in that. And the week, this will be just about the time of our next council meeting, is National Volunteer Week, which is April 17th through the 23rd. And our city will be, as most of us know, we couldn't get the work done of our city without our volunteers. And with the numbers of volunteers that serve on boards and commissions in the city, it's pretty amazing. And we certainly want to recognize them with a celebration. It's going to be a drive-through celebration on April 20th from 5 to 7 p.m. But I want to personally thank all of our volunteers for all that they do to help our city. Thank you.
Well, that was great. There's a lot going on, and as I usually say at the beginning of this section, it's a chance for you to hear from the counselors on the work they do outside of this meeting on committees and task forces and various things around the area. And some of them put in incredible numbers of hours, and it makes a big difference. So thank you, everyone. Now, I think I'm ready to move to the consent agenda. Sorry, I tried to jump there too fast. So will the Assistant City Attorney please read the consent agenda?
Resolution number 2961. A resolution of the City of Wilsonville authorizing the city manager to execute a construction contract with North Star Electrical Contractors Incorporated to construct street lighting LED conversion Phase 2 project. Resolution number 2965, a resolution of the City of Wilsonville authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement with Jarrett Walker and Associates LLC for the update of the Transit Master Plan. Resolution number 2968, a resolution of the City of Wilsonville approving a goods and services contract with Northwest Playground Equipment Incorporated for the Villebois Regional Park 7 and 8 amenities. Minutes of the March 21st, 2022 City Council meeting.
Thank you. I would like to ask Council President Ockervall to make a motion so that we can vote on the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Your Honor, I'll second.
Thank you. The motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, abstain? The motion passes 5-0. We will now move to our public hearing, and I would ask the Assistant City Attorney to read the ordinance by title.
Yes, Your Honor. Ordinance number 857, first reading. An ordinance of the City of Wilsonville annexing approximately 12.95 acres of property located to the north of Southwest Frog Pond Lane into the city limits of the City of Wilsonville, Oregon. The land is more particularly described as Tax Lot 500 and a portion of Southwest Frog Pond Lane right-of-way, Section 12D, Township 3 South, Range 1 West, Willamette Meridian, Clackamas County, Oregon. Dale R. Lauer and Sandy L. Lauer, petitioners. Ordinance number 858, an ordinance of the City of Wilsonville approving a zone map amendment from the Clackamas County Rural Residential Farm Forest 5-acre zone to the residential neighborhood zone on approximately 12.80 acres to the north of Southwest Frog Pond Lane. The land is more particularly described as Tax Lot 500, Section 12D, Township 3 South, Range 1 West, Willamette Meridian, Clackamas County, Oregon. Venture Properties Incorporated applicant.
Thank you. I call to order the public hearing regarding proposed ordinance numbers 857 and 858 on first reading. Do any members of the City Council wish to abstain, declare a conflict of interest, or report any ex parte contact or any information gained outside of the hearing?
No.
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 Have all members familiarized themselves with the application?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Does any member of the audience wish to challenge participation of any member of City Council? Not seeing any.
Yeah.
For all those wishing to testify, please be aware that failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the City Council and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal to the Oregon Land Use Board of Appeals, LUBA, based on that issue. Testimony and evidence must be directed toward the criteria that staff will describe or other criteria in the plan or land use regulation which you believe apply to the decision. City Council meetings are open to the public. This meeting may also be attended remotely in accordance with Oregon law. Information regarding how the public can attend this meeting remotely and give testimony is posted at City Hall and on the city's website. Notice was given that testimony could be submitted for the record in advance in writing by email or mailing it to the city recorder. Testimony may be submitted in writing at any time prior to the closure of the public hearing. Once the public hearing is closed, no further testimony in any form will be accepted. If you wish to provide public testimony remotely during this meeting, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom or press *9 on your telephone to notify the city recorder you wish to speak when the time for public testimony is called. If you're having difficulties with these instructions, you may call 1-669-900-6833, and when prompted, enter webinar ID number 815-3605-6468. Both numbers are now shown on the screen. And when you're called upon to testify, please state your full name and address for the record, unless you've already given your address to the city recorder in advance. I request from those providing testimony not to repeat testimony that has already been given to the City Council. Simply indicating you agree with the prior testimony given by a speaker you identify is sufficient. At this time, I call for staff to present the proposal and list the applicable substantive approval criteria. We'll start with the planning staff presentation.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Fitzgerald, City Councilors. My name is Philip Bradford, Associate Planner with the City of Wilsonville, and I will be presenting the PowerPoint for ordinance numbers 857 and 858, the comprehensive plan map amendment and zone map amendment for Frog Pond Vista. Before I begin, I'd announce that as required by statute, the criteria applicable to the comprehensive plan map amendment and zone map amendment are available in the staff report located at the side of the room, and that information can be found on page 2 of Exhibit A, Attachment 2, and page 2 of Exhibit B, Attachment 2. The subject property outlined in red is located on the north side of Southwest Frog Pond Lane. The proposal is for a 38-lot subdivision on the subject property, and this is in line with the Frog Pond West master plan that City Council previously approved, which went through a robust public process. City Council is reviewing the annexation and the zone map amendment actions. The property annexes 12.95 acres of land into the city of Wilsonville. The site consists of one tax lot and a portion of the Southwest Frog Pond Lane right-of-way. The City Council hearing for the annexation, sorry, don't mean to say that. The annexation area is shown here in red. And the zone map amendment rezones 12.8 acres of land zoned rural residential farm forest 5 acre, which is Clackamas County zoning, to residential neighborhood. The zoning designation is required by the Frog Pond master plan. The DRB previously approved the following applications: Stage 1 master plan, Stage 2 final plan, site design review, tentative subdivision plat, type C tree plan, significant resource overlay boundary verification, and significant resource impact review. I'm now available for any questions you may have about the annexation and zone map amendment, and that concludes my presentation.
Does anyone have any questions? I'm not seeing any questions. Mr. Adams, do you have anything to add to this?
No legal objection or further input, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We now have an opportunity for the applicant to make a presentation. Are they going to be on the screen? Okay. There we go. I think you're, okay.
Hi, this is Maria Miller with IKS Engineering on behalf of the applicant. We are not making a presentation tonight. I'd like to thank Philip. He has described the project accurately, and we agree with the presentation by staff.
Thank you. Having heard from the applicant, I would now like to ask if there are any people on the phone or perhaps connecting via video, members of the audience who might wish to speak for, against, or comment in any way.
None.
We don't have any, and therefore we do not need a rebuttal to that because there's nothing to rebut. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Your Honor, I move to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained. Motion passes 5-0. I declare the public hearing closed. We're going to vote on these ordinances separately, so could I have a motion from Council President Aukervall for ordinance number 857 on first reading?
I move to adopt ordinance number 857 on first reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? I was just going to note that this particular subdivision, as we see in our staff report, is the 6th development proposal in Frog Pond West, and it will connect to the previously approved Frog Pond Ridge subdivision, and it will blend those together as one cohesive neighborhood. So it'll be nice to see that developing. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call for a vote on ordinance number 857 on first reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstain? Motion passes 5-0. We'll now vote on ordinance number 858 on first reading, and I will ask Council President Aukervall for a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance number 858 on first reading.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of ordinance number 858, say aye.
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 Abstain, the motion passes 5-0. Thank you. That brings us to, I believe, we're now to city manager's business.
Welcome back. Good to have you back in the chambers. And if you haven't filed your SEI statement, the deadline is approaching quickly. I'm not pointing fingers because I don't know which of you have or have not, so it's just a reminder.
I know that we're getting there.
Getting very close. What's the actual date?
15th.
April 15th.
A very easy to remember day.
Actually, I think tax day this year is April 18th.
But
It's the 17th.
Yes, it is usually. What's that?
I think it's 17th? No, 17th.
But we need to get a statement of disclosure as elected officials in by April 15th. Any legal business?
Nothing from legal, Your Honor.
Thank you. With that, I will adjourn the meeting at 8:25 p.m.
Goodbye.
That's what we hear every time you guys sign off.